How many of you guys have had a favorite song that you listened to multiple times, and then one day you realize you didn't actually like the song in the end, eventually after listening to it? Yeah, pretty much all of us. So just based on that fact, I believe that Mae West was wrong when she said, too much of a good thing can be wonderful. Now, when I first discovered a song I really like, I listened to it on repeat over and over and over again, and then I don't like it. So I loved that song, and it was a wonderful song. It could be a sad song, it could be a happy song, it could be a dance song, it could be any song. But in the end, it wasn't as wonderful. So when she said this quote, I believe she was talking about happiness in general. When you have too much happiness, you can't be sad. It doesn't make sense. They counteract each other. Too much happiness will never make a person sad, but too much of a specific item can make someone sad. For example, if you have too much money, believe it or not, you can be sad. It just depends on how you use the money in this case. People who buy everything that they want to buy with the money will be happy. They will enjoy it. It will be wonderful for them because they enjoy how they're spending their money. But if they believe and they focus on the negative, for example, when the government takes their taxes and pulls the money away from the person, he isn't very happy anymore because he lost the money. Even though money can be a good thing, it just depends on how you use the money to make your life wonderful. Another example of having too much of something that can make you wonderful in this case is water. Everyone needs water. Everyone is made of water. And if you have too much water, then it's not a wonderful thing. You will get side effects of having way too much water, but you do need water. So in water consideration, just like the song, if you listen to the song in water consideration, you will still like the song for a longer period of time. If you drink water like you're supposed to and not way too much water, you will enjoy the water and it will benefit you. It will be a wonderful time, which is why I believe Mae West's quote was wrong. She said, too much of a good thing can be wonderful. Thank you.
All right, well, it's an interesting question as a detention device, and you suggested that you had a song that fit in that category, and I kept waiting for you to tell me about that song and why it started suddenly annoying you or turned you off and why you went from liking it to not liking it, and I never got that story, so I felt a little dissatisfied with that, since that seemed to be the lead-in to the subject that you're talking about. I did think that you had a good transition to the quote, and then you took a point of view on the quote. Okay, that's fine, except like 20 seconds into it, it sounded like you were changing your point of view on the quote, and then 20 seconds after that, it felt like you went back to the original interpretation that you had on it. So I think it was a little unfocused there. You're just kind of wandering around on the topic. Ultimately, I do think you have a point of view that you do finally settle on, and that's reasonable, but you're rushing through the whole presentation, and so I don't think anybody gets an opportunity to figure out exactly where you're headed during the presentation. There's no preview of the supporting material, although it does seem like there's a little bit of a structure. I heard, a reference to music, a reference to money, and a reference to water. So, okay, I guess you've got a couple, 3 examples here that you're using. using to illustrate your particular point. Your voice projects well. There's pretty good variety in your voice, but you are, like I said, rushing in the presentation quite a bit. There are a few indicators and descriptive gestures when you're speaking. I thought your facial expressions were fine. Eye contact with the audience is okay, although, again, because you're rushing, it sometimes feels a little bit like you're scanning rather than engaging. You stand in a pretty confident manner. I do think there are some opportunities to sort of step forward and emphasize a point or two here or there. I didn't see big anxiety issues except the pace of the presentation, and like I said, I think your voice sounds like it's in a hurry to get someplace while you're speaking. Let's see, the conclusion of the speech, I did like the fact that you did try to kind of come back to the notion that there was a point that you were trying to make, and it was a little bit clearer there than it was in the rest of the presentation. All right, thank you.